Welcome back, YNR fans. The drama in Genoa City is reaching a level that nobody could have predicted, and at the center of it all stands a man who has spent his entire life fighting for his family, protecting the people he loves, and trying to do what's right even when the odds were stacked against him. But now, Nick Newman is facing a battle that may be more dangerous than any enemy he has ever encountered. This time, the threat isn't coming from Victor's rivals. It isn't coming from a corporate war. And it isn't even coming from Matt Clark. The greatest danger Nick faces now may be himself. After the shocking overdose that nearly cost him everything, the Newman family is still struggling to process what happened. The terrifying incident served as a wake-up call for everyone around him. For years, Nick has been known as one of the strongest members of the Newman clan. He has always been the one willing to step forward when others needed help. Yet behind that strength, cracks have been forming. Pain, pressure, guilt, and emotional exhaustion have slowly taken their toll, leading Nick down a path that has become increasingly difficult to escape. As Monday's episode begins, the aftermath of the crisis continues to ripple through Genoa City. Nick has survived. But survival is only the beginning. The real challenge starts now. At Newman Ranch, emotions remain high as family members gather to discuss what comes next. Everyone has their own concerns, but they all share one common goal: helping Nick find his way back before it is too late. Nikki Newman cannot hide her fear. As a mother, she has watched her son endure countless hardships over the years. Yet this situation feels different. Addiction is not an enemy that can be defeated with one confrontation or one act of courage. It is a relentless struggle. Victor Newman, meanwhile, approaches the situation in the only way he knows how, with determination and control. The Newman patriarch refuses to accept defeat. He wants solutions. He wants action. And most importantly, he wants his son alive and healthy. Victoria and Adam may disagree on many things, but for once they find themselves united by concern for their brother. Both understand that Nick's future hangs in a delicate balance. One wrong decision could send everything spiraling out of control again. Yet while the family focuses on Nick's recovery, another complicated issue remains unresolved. Matt Clark. The man responsible for so much pain remains a source of controversy and division. Some believe he deserves punishment. Others are struggling to reconcile the dangerous criminal from the past with the confused and broken man standing before them now. His memory loss has changed everything. Or has it? That question continues to haunt everyone involved. When Nick finally comes face to face with Matt, the encounter becomes one of the most emotionally charged moments viewers have seen in recent memory. The tension is immediate. The anger is real. Nick carries the weight of everything Matt has done. The suffering. The destruction. The lives affected by his actions. And yet, standing before him is not the monster he expected. Instead, Nick sees a man who appears genuinely lost. A man who cannot fully remember the crimes that have made him so hated. Matt understands how people view him. He sees the distrust in their eyes. He feels the judgment in every room he enters. And perhaps most painfully of all, he realizes that even if he has changed, nobody is ready to believe it. Their conversation becomes less about revenge and more about identity. Can someone be held accountable for actions they cannot remember? Can redemption exist without memory? Can a person truly become someone new? These questions hang heavily in the air as both men struggle with emotions they cannot easily define. Matt does not beg for forgiveness. He does not demand sympathy. Instead, he acknowledges the damage associated with his name. He admits that people have every reason to hate him. And he understands that Nick has every reason to seek vengeance. For a moment, it appears as though Nick might give in to his rage. Years of pain threaten to erupt all at once. Every terrible memory. Every wound. Every reason for revenge. It all rises to the surface. But then something unexpected happens. Nick realizes that violence will not bring peace. No punch. No attack. No act of revenge can restore what has been lost. Even if Matt paid the ultimate price, the past would remain unchanged. The victims would still carry their scars. The pain would still exist. And Nick himself would still have to face his own demons. That realization changes everything. Instead of seeking revenge, Nick makes a choice that surprises even him. He walks away. He allows Matt to live. Not because he trusts him. Not because he forgives him. But because he understands that killing him would accomplish nothing. The decision sends shockwaves through everyone involved. Some view it as an act of strength. Others see it as a mistake. But regardless of opinion, one thing is clear. Nick has chosen a different path. Unfortunately, that path is far from easy. The battle against addiction still awaits him. Despite his determination, recovery will not happen overnight. Years of emotional baggage cannot simply disappear. Every day will present new challenges. Every temptation will test his resolve. Every setback will threaten to pull him backward. Still, for the first time in a long time, there is reason for hope. Nick agrees to begin rehabilitation. The decision marks a critical turning point in his journey. It is an acknowledgement that he cannot fight this battle alone. Professional help is no longer optional. It is necessary. Those closest to him are cautiously optimistic. Sharon believes recovery is possible. Nikki desperately wants to believe her son can overcome this darkness. Victor remains committed to supporting him, even if his methods are sometimes controversial. Yet beneath that optimism lies fear. Because everyone understands the reality of addiction. Recovery is rarely a straight line. Progress often comes with setbacks. Victories are frequently followed by painful struggles. And even the strongest individuals can stumble. As Nick prepares to enter this new chapter, viewers are left wondering whether he can truly escape the cycle that has trapped him for so long. Will rehabilitation finally give him the tools he needs to rebuild his life? Or will future temptations drag him back into danger? At the same time, Matt Clark's future remains uncertain. His fate is still hanging in the balance. Victor may have his own plans. Law enforcement may soon become involved. And the truth about Matt's condition may be far more complicated than anyone realizes. One thing is certain. The story is far from over. Nick's decision to spare Matt may have prevented one tragedy. But in Genoa City, every choice creates new consequences. And those consequences are already beginning to unfold. Just when it seemed that the Newman family crisis had taken center stage, another shocking mystery began unfolding across Genoa City, one that could tear the Abbott family apart and expose secrets that nobody saw coming. This time, the focus shifts away from Nick Newman's struggle and lands directly on Diane Jenkins Abbott. And the most disturbing part? Nobody knows where she is. As concern spreads throughout Genoa City, questions begin multiplying faster than answers. What happened to Diane? Did she leave on her own? Is she hiding from someone? Or has something much darker taken place behind the scenes? For Kyle Abbott, the situation quickly becomes impossible to ignore. At first, he tries to remain calm. After all, Diane has been under enormous emotional pressure recently. Her marriage to Jack Abbott has faced one challenge after another. Tension, misunderstandings, and unresolved conflicts have created distance between them. Under normal circumstances, Kyle might assume that Diane simply needed time alone. But these circumstances are anything but normal. The warning signs begin piling up. Important meetings have been missed. Messages remain unanswered. Calls go straight to voicemail. And perhaps most alarming of all, nobody has heard from Diane for an unusually long period of time. As Kyle reviews the facts, a feeling of dread starts creeping in. Something isn't right. Meanwhile, Jack initially approaches the situation with far less urgency. Like many husbands dealing with marital difficulties, he assumes Diane may simply be creating space between them. Their relationship has been strained. Emotions have been running high. Communication has broken down repeatedly. So Jack considers the possibility that Diane is intentionally avoiding him. But Kyle isn't convinced. The more he thinks about it, the less sense it makes. Diane may be upset. She may be frustrated. She may even be angry. But abandoning her responsibilities without explanation? That doesn't sound like her. What truly raises concern is Diane's commitment to Harrison. Anyone who knows Diane understands how deeply she cares about her grandson. She would never willingly disappoint him. When Kyle realizes that Diane missed an important moment involving Harrison, alarm bells begin ringing louder than ever. That realization changes everything. Suddenly, Jack can no longer dismiss the situation. Concern begins replacing confidence. And before long, both men arrive at the same conclusion. They need answers. Fast. Unfortunately, the person who may hold those answers is also one of the most unpredictable individuals in Genoa City. Patty Williams. For years, Patty has occupied a unique place within the city's complicated social landscape. Brilliant yet unstable. Loyal yet dangerous. Compassionate yet capable of obsession. Her history speaks for itself. And whenever Patty becomes emotionally invested in something or someone, chaos often follows. As fate would have it, Patty is already dealing with her own emotional turmoil. Her attention remains focused on Matt Clark. Despite everything surrounding him, Patty continues worrying about his well-being. She believes she sees something in him that others refuse to recognize. A damaged soul. A misunderstood man. Someone deserving of another chance. Whether she's right or wrong remains unclear. But Patty's determination is unmistakable. That determination soon brings her into conflict with Phyllis Summers. And whenever Patty and Phyllis occupy the same room, fireworks are almost guaranteed. The tension between them escalates immediately. Neither woman trusts the other. Neither woman backs down. And neither woman hesitates to speak her mind. Patty accuses Phyllis of manipulating situations for her own benefit. Phyllis fires right back, questioning Patty's motives and judgment. Old wounds reopen. Old rivalries resurface. And before long, the conversation transforms into a verbal battlefield. Yet everything changes when Jack and Kyle arrive. The moment they walk in, the atmosphere shifts dramatically. The playful hostility disappears. The real confrontation begins. Jack wastes no time. Kyle is equally direct. They want one thing: the truth. And specifically, they want to know what Patty knows about Diane's disappearance. The accusation catches Patty off guard. At least initially. But as questions continue pouring in, her responses only make matters worse. Rather than offering reassurance, Patty responds with cryptic comments. Rather than calming fears, she intensifies them. Every statement raises new suspicions. Every answer creates fresh concerns. Most troubling of all is Patty's attitude toward Diane herself. Instead of expressing worry, she appears strangely dismissive. Almost indifferent. She suggests that Diane may have simply walked away from her family. She hints that leaving might be exactly the kind of thing Diane would do. And then comes the comment that changes everything. Patty implies that with Diane out of the way, Jack may eventually remember their own special connection. The room practically freezes. For Jack and Kyle, those words sound incredibly disturbing. What exactly does out of the way mean? Was it merely an unfortunate choice of words? Or does Patty know more than she's willing to admit? The uncertainty becomes impossible to ignore. Jack presses harder. Kyle grows increasingly frustrated. Yet Patty refuses to provide a clear explanation. She insists she has done nothing wrong. She denies harming Diane. She claims she knows nothing about Diane's current whereabouts. But the more she talks, the less convincing she becomes. Suspicion begins surrounding her from every direction. And honestly, it's easy to understand why. Patty's history makes her an obvious suspect. Her feelings toward Jack remain complicated. Her rivalry with Diane is well known. And her tendency toward obsession has created problems countless times before. Even if she's innocent, appearances are working against her. Yet Genoa City has a way of making situations more complicated than they first appear. Sometimes the most obvious suspect isn't guilty. Sometimes the real truth hides where nobody thinks to look. Could Patty actually be telling the truth? Could Diane have disappeared for reasons nobody understands yet? Or is someone manipulating events behind the scenes? The mystery deepens with every passing hour. Meanwhile, Phyllis finds herself caught in the middle of another unfolding drama. Though she appears genuinely surprised by Diane's disappearance, her involvement in recent events ensures she won't remain on the sidelines for long. As always, Phyllis has a way of becoming connected to every major storyline in town, whether she wants to or not. As the investigation slowly begins taking shape, one thing becomes crystal clear. This isn't a simple misunderstanding. This isn't a minor family disagreement. Something significant has happened. And until Diane is found, nobody will feel safe assuming otherwise. For Jack, the uncertainty becomes unbearable. For Kyle, the fear continues growing. For Patty, the accusations are only beginning. And for viewers, a gripping mystery has officially begun. Where is Diane Jenkins Abbott? Who knows the truth? And how far will people go to uncover it? Those questions are about to drive the next phase of this explosive storyline. Because in Genoa City, secrets never stay buried forever. And when the truth finally emerges, it could change the Abbott family forever. As Genoa City continues to reel from Diane's mysterious disappearance and Nick Newman's ongoing recovery battle, another storm is quietly building behind the walls of Newman Ranch. A storm centered around one man: Matt Clark. For weeks, Matt has remained one of the most controversial figures in town. Depending on who you ask, he is either a dangerous criminal who deserves punishment or a broken soul trapped inside a life he can barely remember. And now, his future rests in the hands of people who may have completely different ideas about justice. The biggest question facing Genoa City isn't whether Matt committed terrible acts in the past. Most people believe he did. The real question is much more complicated. What happens when a man can no longer remember being the monster everyone fears? That question continues haunting everyone involved. Especially Victor Newman. Victor has spent decades protecting his family by any means necessary. Throughout his life, he has fought enemies, destroyed rivals, and eliminated threats whenever he believed his loved ones were in danger. To Victor, family comes first. Always. Which is exactly why Matt presents such a unique challenge. Normally, Victor would have already made a decision. A swift one. A decisive one. But this situation isn't normal. Matt's memory loss changes the equation. It creates uncertainty. And uncertainty is something Victor Newman absolutely hates. Inside Newman Ranch, discussions continue regarding Matt's future. Family members have different opinions, different emotions, and different priorities. Nikki remains focused on Nick's recovery. Victoria wants stability. Adam wants answers. Sharon continues seeing signs that Matt may genuinely be a different person now. And Victor? Victor keeps observing. Watching. Calculating. Trying to determine whether Matt Clark represents a continuing threat or an opportunity for something unexpected. What nobody fully realizes is that Matt himself is wrestling with questions far more terrifying than anything happening around him. Every day brings another fragment of confusion. Another unexplained memory flash. Another glimpse into a past he cannot fully understand. Imagine waking up and discovering that everyone around you believes you've committed terrible crimes. Imagine seeing hatred in their eyes while having no memory of creating that hatred. Imagine trying to understand a version of yourself that feels like a complete stranger. That is Matt's reality. And it grows more disturbing with each passing day. The memories don't return in complete form. Instead, they arrive in pieces. Brief flashes. Incomplete images. Fragments without context. Enough to raise questions. Never enough to provide answers. The uncertainty is exhausting. Yet despite everything, Matt begins accepting one painful truth. Whether he remembers his actions or not, people suffered. Real people. Real victims. Real consequences. And perhaps that realization affects him more than anyone expected. Unlike many villains who desperately cling to excuses, Matt appears willing to acknowledge responsibility for damage connected to his name. Even when he doesn't fully understand it. Even when he cannot remember causing it. That willingness creates a fascinating conflict. Because redemption cannot exist without accountability. But how does accountability work when memory itself has disappeared? The debate spreads